Y'all, Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dolton, just got cuffed by the FBI. Y'all know how it was reported that her shopping sprees might have been funded by some shady wire fraud, right? Well, the feds are saying that she turned Dolton's millions into major debt. How crazy is all of this? Now, let me tell you, this isn't your average small town drama. Henyard was living it up like a real life Kardashian, while Dolton's bank account was drying up fast. We're talking about designer bags, luxury vacations, and a security detail that costs more than people's houses. But hold on, because we're about to spill all the tea on how this small town mayor might have been living large on your dime. Are you ready for this? Because it's about to get real messy because the FBI's got receipts and they're coming for Tiffany HARD. Y'all, the situation is so bad and it gets worse the more we talk about it. Ever wonder how a town goes from having millions in the bank to drowning in debt? Well, Tiffany Henyard's got some splaining to do and the feds are all ears. Now let's rewind this mess and see how Dolton's golden girl turned into FBI's latest headache. It all started when Tiffany Henyard was sworn in as a mayor after the previous one, Frank Zuccarelli, suddenly passed away. The last-minute appointment had folks raising their eyebrows, but Henyard came in hot, promising the world to Dolton's residents. At first, everyone was all about Tiffany. She was like the town's very own celebrity, strutting around with big plans and even bigger promises. But y'all, that honeymoon phase sure didn't last long. Before you could even say taxpayer money, things started to get real sketchy. See, Henyard's administration wasn't just controversial, it was downright hostile. Anyone who dared to question her got shut down real fast. It's like she thought she was running her own little kingdom instead of a town. But here's where it gets wild. While Dolton's bank account was shrinking fast, Henyard was living it up like she had her own personal ATM. We're talking designer everything, fancy trips, and a security team that probably cost more than folks made in a year. Now, y'all might be thinking, now how did she get away with all this? Well, turns out she didn't. The village's board tried to put their foot down and investigate all this crazy spending, but Henyard wasn't having it. She shut down that veto quicker than you can say corruption.
Elston has been the assessor here in Thornton Township for the past 10 years, an elected position that helps residents deal with exemptions and property tax appeals. But when she arrived at work this morning, something strange happened.
This was your office?
Yes.
What happened when you tried to open it?
It doesn't work.
Not only had Elston been locked out of her own office, but boxes of sensitive documents that she kept in her office were spread around the common area.
This was under lock and key before.
This was under lock and key.
And now it's just out in the open?
Now it's just out in the open. So it has the taxpayer's name, address.
So who did this to you?
Well, I imagine this new supervisor, Tiffany Henyard.
Brian and Natalie, it is very clear that the trustees in Thornton Township have trust issues, refusing to second a motion by Tiffany Henyard to get routine township bills paid.
I motion that we pay the bills for the general fund. Is there a second? It's been motion and second. Call the roll.
Trustee Jones?
Nope. Radio silence after Henyard attempts to get general fund bills paid. Here's why the trustees didn't go along with it. Last night, the agenda included none of those proposals, so they refused to budge on this.
You guys still don't want to move forward paying any of the bills in the general fund? That is my question.
Is there a day with the previous week that we could pick, that we could set to review the bills?
Trustee, y'all already have the bills. Do you want to pay the bills for the general fund?
What the public needs to know.
Dude, they already know. Stop.
They don't need
Our meeting is on Tuesday.
So that's a no then.
We're here.
That's
We're here.
So
we had time to review it. My question is, are you paying the bills?
To review invoices.
Point of order. Is there a motion on the floor to pay the general fund?
So that motion to pay those bills failed. Henyard adjourned the meeting and walked out. Natalie.
But here's the kicker. While Henyard was living large, Dolton was going broke. We're talking about a town that went from having millions in the bank to being over $3.5 million in debt. That's just not bad budgeting, y'all. That's like setting your wallet on fire and then wondering why you can't pay your rent. And don't even get me started on the FBI investigation. They're not just looking at a few receipts. No, they're digging into everything. Payroll, budgets, credit card statements, and everything that they can get their hands on. Y'all, it's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Because Henyard went from being Dolton's darling to public enemy #1, faster than you could say wire fraud. And now the feds are breathing down her neck. It looks like her empire of luxury goods and lavish trips is about to come crashing down. But now we all know that the feds don't play around, but what are they going to do to Henyard? It's like they're trying to solve a million-piece puzzle with her face on it. What could be so juicy that the FBI is treating Dolton like it's the next Watergate? Y'all, the FBI isn't playing with this investigation either. They dropped that hammer on Tiffany Henyard. I mean, real hard, real fast. And they're digging into every nook and cranny of her life. And let me tell you, it's looking messier than a toddler's art project. The feds have slapped Henyard with not one but two subpoenas. That's right, they're coming at her from all angles. The first one's all about her personal business dealings. They want to know everything about her restaurant, her property management company, even her political action committee and charity. But wait y'all, there's more. The second subpoena, it's all about those township financial records. We're talking budgets, payroll records, and expense reimbursements. It's like the FBI is trying to follow every single penny that's passed through Dolton's coffers. Now y'all might be thinking, is this really that serious? Well, let me drop this bomb on you. Former FBI agent Ross Rice said, and I quote, "It's a very broad in scope. It's very broad in the number of people and entities they're asking for records on. So there must be some serious allegations of wrongdoing that they're trying to get to the bottom of." When an ex-FBI agent says it's serious, you know it's not just some small town drama anymore. But here's where it gets juicier. The FBI isn't just looking at Henyard, they're casting their net wide and far, scooping up their whole inner circle. Her top A, Keith Freeman, he's in the hot seat too. And it doesn't stop there. Other township officials are feeling the heat as well. It's like the feds are trying to untangle a whole web of potential shenanigans. And if you thought that that was bad, well, hold on to your edges, cause there's more. The FBI's been chatting up at witnesses left and right, and they've been grilling local business owners and former employees, and they're piecing together this puzzle one interview at a time. And from the looks of it, the picture isn't pretty for Henyard and her crew. The FBI is leaving no table unturned, no receipt crumbled, and no bank statement unexamined. They're determined to get to the bottom of this mess and will not stop until they've uncovered every last detail. So what does this all mean for Tiffany Henyard? Well, it looks like her days of living large on Dolton's dime might be coming to a screeching halt. The feds are closing in and they have more receipts for her. Henyard's empire of luxury and excess is starting to look shakier than a Jenga tower in an earthquake. But just when you thought that Henyard couldn't dig a deeper hole, she bought herself a gold-plated shovel, y'all. The amount of taxpayer money she's accused of blowing through could make Jeff Bezos blush. But what was she spending it all on? Buckle up, because this shopping list is definitely giving just throw it in the bag. Let's start with the big one, $1 million police security detail. Yeah, you heard that right. While Dolton struggles to keep the lights on, Henyard struts around with a security team that costs more than some small country's entire defense budgets. It's like she thought she was the president of the United States, not the mayor of a small town in Illinois. Now you might think, okay, but maybe Dolton's just really dangerous? Well, honey, if it was, this security detail sure wouldn't help. When Henyard was living it up with her personal army, the rest of Dolton was left high and dry when it came to fighting actual crimes. It's like she was trying to play cops while the real police were left with water guns. But wait y'all, it gets better. Remember when I said Henyard was living like there was no tomorrow? Well, she took that to heart with a shopping spree that would make the Kardashians jealous. Picture this, $33,000 spent on Amazon in one day. Y'all, that's crazy. I mean, how many wigs, batteries, and bras can you get from Amazon? Was she buying designer face masks, gold-plated staplers, a lifetime supply of gourmet coffee? We don't know what exactly, but whatever it was, it sure wasn't fixing Dolton's pothole problem. Now, like I said, while Henyard was living large, Dolton drowned in debt. We're talking millions in the red, folks. But she wasn't done. Oh no, she was just getting started, because she still had to go on her fancy trips, stay at luxury hotels, eat at high-end restaurants. If it was expensive, she was there. It was like she was on a mission to single-handedly stimulate the economy of every other place except Dolton, because Miss Mama's pretty much ran the town to the ground. But here's the thing, every party has to end at some point, and when the FBI crashes your shindig, you know it's gonna be a rude awakening. They're going through Henyard's receipts like a mama checking Halloween candy, and let me tell you, they're finding more tricks than treats. But hold on, y'all, because if you thought that the FBI was the only big name in this this mess, think again. There's a new sheriff in town and she used to run Chicago. Why she's poking around in Dolton's business? Well, let's just say that when one mayor starts digging into another's dirt, you know things are about to get real messy. The drama in Dolton got turned up to 11 because guess who got called in to play detective? None other than Chicago's former mayor, Lightfoot herself. Now what's a big city ex-mayor doing in little old Dolton? Well, it turns out that when you've got a mayor who's spending money like it's going out of style, you need someone who knows how to follow the cash. See, the Dolton Village Board isn't playing around anymore. They voted to bring in Lightfoot to investigate Tiffany Henyard's spending. Lightfoot isn't just a random pick. She was a federal prosecutor before she was mayor, so you know she's not about that BS. Now, Lightfoot's job, she's supposed to shine a big light on Henyard's spending and expose her. The folks in Dolton are mad as hornets about their tax dollars having been flying out the window faster than a kid's allowance at a candy store. They want answers and they want them now. But y'all, Henyard isn't taking and lying down. She's fighting back, or at least she's trying to. She's out here saying this whole thing is just politics. She's claiming folks are coming after her because she's a woman, because of her race. She's pretty much trying to play the victim while she's living it up on the town's dime. Y'all, that's the audacity for me. Meanwhile, Lightfoot is digging through receipts and she is digging deep. She's checking every credit card statement, expense report, and trip Henyard took. And let me tell you, what she's finding is shocking as F. Remember that $1 million security detail? The fancy trips, the Amazon shopping sprees. Lightfoot's putting all the pieces together and the picture it's making isn't pretty. Lightfoot's investigation is looking like a reality TV show, but with way higher stakes. Every day there's a new revelation, a new receipt, a new reason for Dolton residents to shake their heads. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion, but the train is made of dollar bills and the track is Dolton's bank account. But here's the thing, Lightfoot isn't just looking at the past, she's trying to figure out how to stop this money leak before Dolton turns into a ghost town. It's like she's trying to plug a dam with 1,000 holes and Henyard's still up there punching new ones. Y'all, this whole situation is a crazy mess. You've got a mayor investigating another mayor, the FBI sniffing around, and a town wondering where all their money went. It's like a political soap opera, but with real consequences for real people. Y'all, if you thought this drama was just playing out in fancy offices and courtrooms, think again. The streets of Dolton are heating up faster than a summer sidewalk. But what's got these small town folks so fired up? Well, let me tell you. They're madder than a wet hen about Tiffany Henyard's spending sprees, and honestly, who can blame them for being this furious? The people of Dolton aren't sitting quiet anymore. They're out there protesting, demanding that Henyard step down. These folks are sick and tired of watching their hard-earned tax dollars disappear quickly just to fund their mayor's lavish, over-the-top lifestyle. I mean, these folks are watching their town sink deeper into debt while Henyard's living it up like she's got a golden ticket to the money factory. At a recent village board meeting, she got dragged for filth, of course.
Lastly, Tiffany, there's one comment that I've heard out of your mouth that I actually agree with.
Somebody going to jail.
I wouldn't trust this woman if she stood on a stack of Bibles and had her tongue notarized. Not a damn thing she says comes out her mouth is true.
Things got so heated that the police had to clear the room because people were very big mad. People were shouting, pointing fingers, and demanding answers. One business owner, Lawrence Gardner, even said he was harassed by local police after he refused to contribute to Henyard's political campaign. That's some scary stuff right there, definitely giving mob, especially when it seems like the local police were in Tiffany's pocket. But it isn't just the regular folks who were mad. Even the village board is trying to put their foot down. They voted to investigate Henyard's spending, but she shut that down faster than you can blink. I mean, she loves her little lavish lifestyle, and she wasn't about to let the village board stop her from living her best life on the town's coin, which she should have never been doing in the first place. She vetoed the village board quickly, and she shut it down. Now, this is where things get real serious. The state of Illinois is so fed up with this mess, they decided to freeze funds to Dolton. That's right, they're cutting off the money pipeline. It's like when your parents cancel an allowance because you spent it all on candy. Except in this case, the candy is designer bags, luxury trip, and the parents are the whole state. And if that's not bad enough, Dolton might be facing some hefty fines too. All this drama is making people in Dolton wonder what's gonna happen to their little old town. They're watching their streets crumble while Henyard's cruising around in style, and one local trustee said the community deserves this level of financial transparency. And that's just a fancy way of saying, show us where the money went. Well, the FBI isn't helping Henyard's case either. With the feds sniffing around and the townspeople up in arms, it's looking like Henyard's empire is shakier than a house of cards in a tornado, because people are starting to connect the dots. And the picture they see isn't pretty. The people are ready to storm the castle, and by castle I mean the mayor's office. They want answers. But now that Henyard's empire is crumbling, what's gonna happen to Dolton? The answer might surprise you. Dolton's facing some really serious issues. With Tiffany Henyard's reign looking super shaky, the town's facing a crisis bigger than a Texas-sized tornado. But let's break it down for you. Dolton's going from having millions in the bank to being deeper in the hole. We're talking about $3.5 million in debt. That's not just bad math, that's a full-on financial disaster for a small town. It's like someone took the town's piggy bank and smashed it with a sledgehammer. And it's not just about money. Dolton's leadership is looking emptier than a ghost town at night. With Henyard under investigation and the town board at each other's throats, I just know Zeus Channel would kill for this type of messy drama. Well, except for the part where the feds are sniffing around, cause y'all know that nobody likes the feds sniffing around their business, cause the feds know how to sniff, and they're almost always gonna find something. But anyways, you might be thinking, is this the end of Dolton? Well, hold on to your horses, because this isn't Dolton's first rodeo, and it might not be the last. But let's get real a second, for a millisecond. Henyard's alleged fraud doesn't just end at the fancy trips and designer bags. It's got long-term consequences that could hit Dolton harder than a freight train. First off, there's the trust issue. When a mayor's been caught with their hand in the cookie jar, it's not easy for folks to trust the next person who comes along, promising to fix things. People in Dolton might be side-eyeing their leaders for years to come, and it's not going to be easy for whoever comes and takes over. Then there's the money problem. Dolton's bank account is emptier than a politician's promises, and that means trouble for everybody. We're talking about potential cuts to essential services, delays in infrastructure repairs, and maybe even higher taxes down the line. And this is where it gets very serious. All this drama could scare off businesses because, again, who wants to invest in a city where the mayor plays fast and loose with the town's money? Who wants to set up shop in a town that's got more drama than a reality TV show? And without new businesses coming in, Dolton's going to have a hard time bouncing back from all this mess, especially with the reports of budget cuts from the state. Well, it's not going to be a walk in the park for sure. But first things first, they got to clean that house up. That means getting to the bottom of all this financial funny business and making sure it doesn't happen again. Dolton's got to go through a fumigation of sorts. They got to get rid of all the pests before they can start fresh. Then Dolton's gonna need some new blood in charge. Somebody who can balance the books, be transparent without treating the town's bank account like their personal piggy bank. But here's the kicker. Dolton's recovery isn't just gonna be about the folks in charge. It's gonna take the whole town pulling together to try to fix things. We're talking about community meetings, volunteer efforts, and maybe even some good old-fashioned bake sales to raise some kind of funds. And y'all don't count out the power of a small town with its back against the wall. Dolton might be down, but it ain't out. Sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom to light a fire under folks. This could be the wake-up call Dolton needs to come back stronger than ever. But y'all, Tiffany Henyard's fall from grace is like a crash course in why we gotta keep our eyes on local politics. All this talk about presidencies, but what's going on in the towns? This mayor went from living large to facing the FBI. And now Dolton's drowning in debt while Henyard's got some serious explaining to do. There are also reports that people in her inner circle are willing to snitch on her and testify against her in court in the FBI case. Now, some people might feel a type of way about this because of the lack of loyalty, but hey, her accomplices are facing years in prison. And like I said, nobody wants a case with the feds, because the feds are almost always going to win because they don't play around, especially in fraud cases like this. With insiders snitching on her, let's just say that Henyard might want to start putting her affairs in order because the feds are closing in. And considering that nobody likes or respects her in Dolton anymore, she's not gonna have anyone protesting for her release. Well, you know the people have a whole lot to say about it. They've been in the comments and they've been saying stuff like, throw this girl in prison for life, stealing from taxpayers. Dolton County Democrat Mayor Tiffany Henyard is a criminal and should be thrown in prison. And Tiffany Henyard, corrupt mayor of Dolton, is going to go to prison for such a long time. Spent over $9 million in less than 3 years, leaving the township about $5.5 million in debt. Henyard isn't a super mayor, she's a super villain, a very incompetent one. But I gotta know what y'all feel about this. Drop your thoughts and comments below and then check out this next video.